Congratulations, you did it. You made it back to the most popular wrestling show on the internet where an Australian specifically breaks down three things from wrestling each week. Good work. Editing Ricky, roll that intro.
Hello?
And welcome to Ricky on Wrestling. In today's video, we're going through the three big things from wrestling this week. And we're going to start off with a pretty broad one, but this is just the state of the WWE product right now going into Elimination Chamber and going into WrestleMania, because there's been a lot of word on the internet over the past couple of weeks that the product is kind of stale and boring and doesn't really feel all that consequential right now. And in that respect, I kind of have to agree with what is being said right now, but there's a very specific reason for it. And I feel like this is something that WWE has to address in future builds to WrestleMania. So right now, WWE is kind of just spinning its wheels before Elimination Chamber. And I feel like the main reason behind that is the fact that their two most interesting champions are the ones waiting on opponents that we will find out at the conclusion of the Elimination Chamber in 9 days' time. And that just kind of leads to television that isn't all that inspired right now. Now, obviously, we have Jey Uso and Gunther, and that is starting to build. And like I said, I feel like if it's good enough television, it does earn itself to close one of the nights of WrestleMania, and it is doing a good job of justifying that. But let's be real, the more interesting character is Cody and who he's going to face at WrestleMania. And now his opponents in the chamber, all of them, except for Logan Paul, are legitimate contenders to have an interesting build. Good promo stuff, good character work in the lead up, and also having a good match with him at Mania. Same with Rhea Ripley. Don't get me wrong, I think Tiffany Stratton is a massive star, or will be a massive star in the future once she gets put over by Charlotte, but also the build to that match, I don't know. It needs to justify itself as getting a good spot on the show, because right now it's kind of uninspired. There's nothing really grabbing me and saying, this is the match I have to see. Right now, I'm still more interested in Rhea Ripley. Now, that may be some Australia bias, but it is what it is. She is a more interesting character on the whole, and who she faces will be a more interesting story. At least that's what I think, and Charlotte and Tiffany prove me wrong, please. So I just feel like this build hasn't been as good as last year, and people are looking back on last year, and as they should, with not even rose tinted glasses, with regular tinted glasses, because the build to Mania last year was incredible. It was. It was solely off the back of the Bloodline story and The Rock. Two things we don't have this year. So WWE has to, especially after the Chamber, really ramp up this build towards WrestleMania. Hit us with some stuff we aren't expecting, because after last year, to back that up, it's going to be an uphill battle. So I just feel like the spinning of the wheels right now in the lead up to finding our two more interesting champions, their opponents, and then we will get the ball rolling after that fact. And I think that this Mania build has the potential to be as good as last year's. The problem is it's taking us a long time to get there. Now, obviously last year we had that little weird interim where Cody gave up his spot to The Rock and then retracted it, and we had the thing at Vegas that was really, really cool. And if memory serves correctly, all of that happened before Elimination Chamber. So even going into the Chamber last year, WWE had all this momentum that they don't have this year. So yeah, I don't disagree with a lot of the sentiment online that right now it does feel like we're spinning wheels, and we are. And I think that in the future, WWE has to look at that and go, okay, does the road to WrestleMania really start at the Rumble? Does it really start at the Chamber? Does it start before the Rumble? Does it start at the start of the year? Like, we need a definitive spot where we're like, all right, we're building to WrestleMania. We need to start putting pieces in place earlier so that we don't run into a situation like this again. And not having The Rock every year, that was a luxury last year. We're not going to have that every year. We need to be able to build up characters right now to fill those roles that people want to tune in every single week in the lead up to Mania, and not have this sort of dead air between the Rumble and Chamber where it doesn't feel like much has happened. That sucks as a viewer, because you're like, I want to tune in and I want to see cool stuff happening. And right now, everything is just wait till we get to the Chamber, wait till we see the winner, then we will ramp up the build towards WrestleMania. And granted, there is a big gap between the Chamber this year and WrestleMania. It's about 6 or 7 weeks. Even before that, like, I want there to be hype going into the Chamber match. This year doesn't really feel like we've gotten a lot of hype. So I understand where it's coming from. I think there is potential there. I just think that in future, WWE should prioritize that little dead period in between the Rumble and the Chamber and really ramp up the television, the storytelling to keep people interested. Because right now, people are kind of just waiting to get to the Chamber, and then things hopefully will ramp up from there. Okay, big thing number 2 from this week, and there is a reason I'm putting this out today instead of tomorrow like I usually do. That is The Rock was announced for SmackDown tonight. Now, again, seeing all the reactions online, I'm here to temper those reactions. I'm here to tell you not to get your hopes up. I'm here to tell you that this will not be what you expect. A lot of people are saying online, this is where it's going to happen. This is where the build to WrestleMania really ramps up. The Rock is here. The Rock is going to announce himself or confront somebody or set himself up for a match or a confrontation of some sort at WrestleMania. I've seen in places online that this is merely going to be The Rock coming out and announcing the location of WrestleMania 42 or to do some other sort of corporate thing. Because at the end of the day, what we saw at the Netflix Raw debut, it was the final boss in name only, or in, silk shirted only. This is corporate Rock. And I'm not talking about old school corporate Rock. This isn't Hollywood Rock. This isn't Rocky Maivia. This is corporate Rock, quite literally. This is the board member of TKO, most likely coming out to make some sort of announcement around the business of WWE, nothing more. If they were going to set something up for WrestleMania, it would have happened at the Netflix debut. And what happened? Nothing. He came out, he mended his fences with Cody, he put the Ulafala on Roman, pretty much burying those 2 potential fights he could have had at WrestleMania, dead in the fucking ground. They're not happening. And tonight, nothing's going to happen. Nothing is going to happen. You need to temper your expectations right now because it's not going to be anything. If The Rock was going to be at WrestleMania, we would have set it up by now. We would be on that road because, as I said in the previous segment, the build has been kind of shit. Last year we had The Rock. This year we don't. He was the catalyst for last year getting all this mainstream attention and being must-watch TV every week. This year we don't have that, and tomorrow or tonight, again, isn't going to change that. It is not going to change a damn thing. I guarantee you, be just him coming out, making some sort of announcement related to the business, and that will be. And finally, the last big thing, although this may be a small thing according to some people on the internet, it was the tiny ring at AEW's Grand Slam and the internet's reaction to it. This is just the dumbest thing I've seen in a while, but I feel like I need to bring it up. Firstly, as someone who went to the show, we in the crowd didn't realize. I didn't realize until I watched the show back that it was a tad smaller. Literally an 18 by 18 instead of a 20 by 20 ring. What's the difference? It's a very minuscule difference. You can see it kind of on television. You can make out that it is a bit smaller, but this is just the internet wrestling community's just chance to dump on AEW again for something that is so minuscule, so tiny. And I'm not making a pun about the ring. The ring was fine. Like, for the most part, most of these wrestlers in AEW came up wrestling in smaller rings, in little bingo halls and stuff like that in the indies. They're used to this. They know how to wrestle in rings this size. And for the most part, there was nothing on the show that was hampered by the fact that it was a smaller ring. It is just, once again, the internet wanting to find a way to shit on AEW. And that's the thing. There's stuff you can shit on AEW for legitimately. What they do wrong, their booking decisions, the goddamn Death Riders. But this ain't it. This is just, it's stupid. It's really, really dumb. They got the ring from a local Australian wrestling promotion. I think it was PWA, lent them their ring. They wrestle in 18 by 18 rings. That's all it sounds like to me, is just the mumblings of idiots when people talk about this. It is just silly. And I just wanted to address it. It's just stupid. It doesn't mean anything. And for those people that complained about it and said, oh, AEW can't, no. Did you watch the show? The wrestling was fucking awesome. It had no bearing on the fact that the ring was 2 feet smaller than it usually is. Stupid. It's dumb. Move on. You want to legitimately criticize AEW? That is fine. I criticize them. I criticize WWE when there is legitimate reasons to criticize. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. It is so stupid. And this is coming from someone who's not a dyed-in-the-wool AEW fan. As I said in my previous videos about AEW, I'm someone that usually tunes in for All In and then tunes back out again for the rest of the year unless something really, really crazy happens. And obviously I went to the show because it was here in Australia and I'm like, I like live wrestling. I want to go to Brisbane, and I went. And as I said, Didn't make a lick of difference in the arena. It's just stupid internet noise. And if you're someone who partakes in it, just go outside, touch grass, for Christ's sake. Because who cares? It's so stupid. It's so stupid. At the very least, if you're going to criticize AEW, be creative about it. Think of something more creative than, oh, the ring was 2 feet smaller than it usually is. But, you know, it gets you a lot of karma in your little subreddit. So go back to them, crawl away like the cockroaches that you are, and come up with something better. Come up with something better and come back to this channel and tell me what it is. Tell me what your criticisms are, your funny, actually informative and thought out criticisms of AEW are in the comments. And I will listen to them and I will read them back in a video perhaps. But if you are talking about a ring size, who cares? Who literally cares? Anyway, that is my little dumb rant about the ring size of AEW. Who gives a shit? That is the TLDR. Who gives a shit? Like the video, hit subscribe, hit the bell. I appreciate it. I'll be back later this weekend with some other videos. I have no idea. I'm going to start putting shorts up on this channel as well, so keep an eye out for those. I've got some fun ones in the works. We got the Chamber next week. Let's go. I'm excited. As I said at the start of this video, I feel like the Chamber is going to be like the revving up point for the build to WrestleMania. It's going to like really kick into high gear after the Chamber, so I'm excited. There'll be a prediction video. There'll be a review video. Anyway, that does it from me. See you in the next video, and bye.